is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
It is ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We want to say welcome into the show. And first of all, we also want to say thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we're free and available wherever you download your podcast. And wherever you download your podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review because, you know, why you want to hide greatness? That's all I got to say. I'm not going to threaten you today because I'm not on that today. I'm in a very good mood because last night, Spencer Strider got the goods. We'll talk about that and what does that mean. And also, Arthur Smith said that he wants to take care of home first. Sounds like a married man. We'll see how he can do that on Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. And last but not least, T, I don't know about you, but this Doug Gottlieb is a situation, a sitch for short. And, you know, I think that it is something that just get more weird. The more we learn, the more weird it gets. We'll talk about all that. But first, we have to get into the Braves. They actually get the dub last night. They win. In that afternoon, end up going into night. 7-3 against the Oakland A's. Raciel Iglesias does his thing, comes in and shuts the door, doesn't get the save, but, you know, he closed things down, doesn't make it interesting. That's all we asked for in the bottom of the ninth inning. But I think that the main thing, though, T, is that Spencer Strider, I was just watching this game last night, and I'm sitting up here just and Mark Zeno and John Chuckery of Hitting Hard, John Chuckery and A to Z Mark Zeno, they both talked about this, but I just got a feel last night watching Spencer Strider, and I'm just like, I would love for this dude just to come in early on in the playoffs and just mow down the competition like he's doing right now.
Yes, I would too. And I think that we saw him take a step in his progression to believe that he can actually do that. For me, it's an old adage of it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So yes, right. We know Strider got rocked in that first inning. We know he gave up a couple runs, 3 hits on walks, and it looked a little shaky, but you know, you get your pitching coach out there, he level sets you, and all of a sudden he retires the next 15 batters until he walked out of that bad boy in the 6th inning. Right. So I said he grew up right before our eyes. He finished like a boss, in my opinion. And I think that, yes, that is exactly what you want to see in somebody who can come in and start putting the fear of God in your opponent, whether that's a wild card opponent, whether you are winning the NL East and you're hosting that first round play, whatever the case may be, he is somebody where, yeah, I believe what you saw last night showed you, hey, I don't have to start off mowing guys down, but if I start off shaky, I'll reset myself and watch me work.
Yeah, 36 pitches in the first inning. The first half inning, like, yeah, that's definitely never a number that you want to see. And he like you mentioned, he walked 3 people in that game. And for the rest of the time, he went 6 innings, then walk another soul. So that's exactly 3-to-1 strikeout walk ratio. That's exactly what you that's the only thing you can ask for from a guy like that. And he kind of puts me in the mind of, I never forget when Randy Johnson was going against John Kruk in the All-Star game, and John Kruk was just barely even doggones in the batter's box because he knew that the unit was just going to be throwing 100-mile-per-hour gas, and you guys just going to have to figure out how to stop it, right, or how to even hit against them. And I think that's what I feel when I look at Spencer Strider, a guy like a Randy Johnson, the big unit they used to call him. And you just get a feel or a certain vibe when he gets on the mound, and I love that feeling. And for him to do that in the playoffs, my goodness, it's just crazy.
And my mind quickly went to a former Brave, not that he, was in the same ilk of where I think Spencer Strider is going, but the edge just made me think of John Rocker, just the edge.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Because he definitely has edge, and he's a little quirky like John Rocker was as well.
Yes.
Not on the same quirkiness.
Right.
I don't want to get into that, but quirky indeed. Speaking of another rookie that's doing his thing, Grissom, he's starting to get a little warmed up too. But before we talk about Von Grissom, T, tell the folks about what's going on at Built Bar and what they got a new flavor coming out right now.
Yeah, you speak of Von Grissom, you speak of Spencer Strider, Michael Harris II coming in hot. Well, Built bars are coming in hot once again. You can check them out at built.com to see exactly what they have going on. And what they have for you these days is really cool. It'll take you back to your elementary days, your childhood, and that's the amazing Built Bar Puff. This time around, it's the cookie dough chunk puff. That's why I said
Ooh, yes, Lord.
taking you back to your childhood, because how many of us would try to eat that cookie dough because of the light texture? It was kind of chewy.
Straight out the package, T.
Exactly. You would take that package out and be like, I could put it in the oven, but wait a minute, I'll do you better. So this is like having that right there in a candy bar, but not just any old candy bar, one that is actually good for you. So when you think about the fact that it's only 160 calories, that's a good look. When you think about the fact that you're getting 15 grams of protein, but it's a collagen protein, so that's something that absorbs very easily, that's good for your system as well. And that also helps you to be able to consume it guilt-free. So think about it. I know today is my workout day. That's something that I will have in my car before and after the gym so that I won't go eat bad things. It's also something that if you're at home, you want a late night snack and you don't want to dig into the worst things in your pantry, get this. And finally, as you all know, I always tell you, it didn't happen today, but normally it happens. It has that bad ATL traffic that I drive in from one point to another. If you're in that traffic today, I bet you want to go home and get that Built Bar after all. So go to BuiltBar.com so you'll have it for yourself tomorrow or sometime next week. This is the promo code you want to use, LOCKED15, because that'll get you 15% off your order. Again, the promo code, LOCKED15, the website, Built.com.
No doubt about it. Now, T, speaking of numbers, talking about 15% off, I got a number for you. How about this? In Von Grissom's first 25 games, 337 batting average and a 906 OPS. Goodness gracious. I think that, and now he did go through a little bit of a slump in about 10 games or so. He had in his batting average, I think it was like 425, and then it dropped down a little bit. Now he's kind of is evening off at 337. So, right. But I think that, this is a good sign as we get ready to roll up to the playoffs, and you're going to be expecting a lot of production from the young bucks on this team, T.
Yeah, and he's one that's giving the Braves another two-way player, because Michael Harris came in and really made a statement at the plate and in the field, and you're looking for Von Grissom to do the same, especially once Ozzie Albies comes back and potentially he's moved to the outfield. But like you said, a nice little comeback run that he's been on so far. Even in this series, he was able to get 4 hits in game 1, 2 hits in game 2, and really contribute to, I'll use your term, shutting the door from an offensive perspective last night, just to make sure that if the A's thought that they were about to mount a comeback, that you have someone in yet another rookie who can get it done. And I saw this really neat statistic that I'm sure we'll be using next week for our guy MH2. And that's the fact that he's been batting 400 when he has runners in scoring position. That is the best in the majors. The reason I mention that is because the first thought I had was, well, you have to have a requisite number of games that you played. And because of when Michael Harris came in, of course, he is eligible for that. Von Grissom is not. But boy, I bet he would be darn close if he had played just as many games. And I think that's advantage to the Braves, because that also means that he's going to continue trending up right and start peaking at the perfect time.
Yes, I think Michael Harris is at like 90 games. He just reached 90 games and playing in the major leagues. And when you're talking about batting 400 with runners in scoring position, absolutely ridiculous. I think that's something that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on, because, like I said, they have an in-house fight for who's going to be Rookie of the Year in the National League. So good luck, voters. Go ahead and do the right thing and go ahead and put that co on in front of those bad boys and just roll with it. And we have no problem with that at all. Another thing that we've talked about on the show, we actually talked about it yesterday, T, is Joseph Martinez. Obviously, he's being suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. And it started, got to start thinking about, as far as the names in the city of Atlanta sports, right? We just saw Freddie Freeman. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. He ended up leaving. and you got Matt Ryan, who was traded away in the spring. And then you got Julio Jones, who left us previously as well. So those are some hard-hitting names in this city, in Atlanta professional sports. So do you think that there is a gap there? Or do you believe that, hey, the city of Atlanta's in good hands right now, given who's coming, who we have coming, who we just talked about, right? Von Grissom's and the Michael Harris's of the world.
Exactly. And so, it got us thinking, because real talk, Joseph Martinez is not the king of the South, like as far as what he's producing on the pitch anymore.
Right.
Coupled with the fact that he's having this internal strife is going on, at this point, you expect that United might want to part ways with the player versus the manager, which
not might. They will. I believe they will, T.
I'm being nice about it, right?
Right.
I mean, really nice
they will part ways.
But assuming that this is the end of the road for Joseph for number 7, then you look and you say, okay, well, then where are the new, where are the legends or the cool kids for this Atlanta sports city scene? And I think I think this city is in such good hands, starting off with the Falcons. You look, and I'm going to go beyond Kyle Pitts, because, it's just 2 years in and we don't really still know what Drake London is, but we know what AJ Terrell is.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes, he is not only a proven commodity on the field for the Falcons, but he's out there in the community doing great things. And of course, he's a native of the area. So I believe they're in good hands. And I know Grady's a little bit older, but I'm going to put him in that category just because of longevity, right? Because the minute he came here, he made this unbelievable impact on the community, on the field. And we suspect that he's going to get right back to being Grady this particular season. And then you switch over to the Hawks and you say to yourself, like, hey, Trae Young, he's settled in. We have, oh my God, you and I just talked about it. We put our arms around DeJounte Murray already. So as long as nothing goes awry.
He loves us, so we love him too.
Exactly. Like and then you got, so those, in terms of legendary status, if you will, because you talked about Matty Ice and you talked about Julio and Freddie. Those are legends, right? That parted ways with the city. So when you talk about legends that are coming up, yes, I'm going to go out on a limb with you and say, I am expecting MH2. I am expecting Spencer Strider. We got to get a nickname for him. But anyway, and I'm expecting Von Grissom to definitely have things on the upswing for this city. I think it's more than in good hands. And also, and listen, everybody, taking the controversy away from yesterday, which is not all Miles Robinson's fault, by the way, if you really dig deeper into that situation. But if you're talking about it just on the surface of the next face of United, by the way, they're going to fight this tooth and nail for him because he is the next face of United, because he's the future of United. He is a world-class player who is on our national team. So it brings more visibility to what United is doing. And one more, and then, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Ryan Howard, everybody. Ryan Howard. This city is in really good hands.
Absolute baller. Let me just say that in response to bringing up the Queen Howard. Queen Howard is, she's an absolute baller. Atlanta Dream took a risk by, trading up for her. Obviously, I know a lot of people saying, "Oh well, she's really good." So how's the risk? Is a risk giving up all the draft capital to move up and take that number 1 overall pick? You got to know for sure what you're getting when you do that. And Atlanta Dream did that, and you got to definitely appreciate them. But just overall, though, T, like I think this city is in good hands, great hands, because we know that we've seen some things. Even though some of these guys still haven't taken this prospective teams to a championship level. I think that Trae was close. He went to the Eastern Conference Finals and and did everything in his power to try to get him to the NBA Finals. Outside of not being hurt, getting injured, and missing games. I think that this city overall is definitely in good hands. I think that we're gonna have plenty of people to talk about going forward right here on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T. We appreciate you guys for sticking around with us, but don't go anywhere, because coming up next, Arthur Smith said he wants to take care of home first. And I think that he might be on to something. We'll tell you exactly why right here on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to ATL Day Ones, everybody. I am Tenitra. That is Jarvis. And you guys are family, appreciate the family coming back every day and supporting your girl, supporting your guy. We appreciate that. And we know that you're doing it because we keep seeing those 5-star reviews. So thanks, and thanks again. And also thank you guys on YouTube. Man, we got some great feedback from the whole Locked On Sports Atlanta network and just wanted to give you thanks on behalf of our team. So keep rocking with all of us, and we will continue to bring you this great content, especially as we get closer and closer to the NFL season. Now, granted, we know it opens officially tonight with the world champion Rams going against the Bills. They're going to be hosting the Bills on Thursday Night Football. But for the A, I can say the A, right, Jarvis? I can still say the A. Okay, so for the A,
you can say it. Nobody else.
exactly. So I got to people. So for the A, the NFL season officially starts Sunday when the rival Saints touch down at Mercedes Benz Stadium. Why is that important? Because Arthur Smith had an interesting comment that we have our own take on relative to that game. So he talked about the fact that they practiced in Mercedes Benz. Of course, they practiced there on Wednesday. And he mentioned how important that was. The reason they did that, because for them, they just want to be better at home. They want to get a feel for the home field other than what they did with the open practices this past offseason and during training camp. He went as far as to say, Jarvis, quote, 2 more wins at home. There's a great chance we could have kept playing. That's relative to last year. So looking forward to this year. How can the Falcons protect that home field? For starters, what do you think that's going to look like for them to be able to protect home field?
First of all, I think that one of the reasons why he's saying this is because you want to be able to put on a good showing for your hometown fans, right? And in order for you to be able to put on a good showing for your hometown fans, you got to be balanced, right? If you know that there's a really good chance that more than likely that team that's coming into your house that has a little bit more talent than you, that means you have to be sound. That means you have to not make mistakes. Not the dumb penalties have to go away, and you can't beat yourself. Those are some of the things that Arthur Smith has drilled down. Like when you see how he gets so animated on the sidelines when he see those flags start to fly. You know what I mean? So he is going off. He goes off. Desmond Ridder can attest to it. So I think that those are some of the little things that you can tighten up. And I think just another aspect of it, which I think that holds a lot of weight too, and it has to do with the person who hired him. Arthur Blank owns Mercedes Benz, and I think he wants to see more people in Mercedes Benz Stadium on Sundays at 1:00, because I know you and I have sat in plenty of press boxes, and we saw a lot of red seats. Meaning there was nobody in those seats at 12:45 or 12:55 when the game is getting ready to kick off. And I think that and them doing those things that I mentioned, as far as the little things so they can put themselves in position to win games, that's going to help that aspect. And I think that all of those things kind of come into play when you think about a guy who made that statement, right? Because that's kind of what my mind goes. I'm like, all right, not only the football stuff, we get that aspect of it, but it's another piece to it too, because more people in the stands that's rooting for the team that's on the field, that's in that particular city, means that, hey, atmosphere, ruckus crowds, that helps the defense, and that kind of gets you to a point where, that defense can play a little bit better. As far as when the crowd is in the game and you're talking about sellout crowds, those things make a big difference to you.
They do. And also, looking at the Falcons' record for opening seasons, it's been 5 years since they've opened the season with a win. So it is high time
starving.
Exactly. That's a perfect word. They are starving for a win, and there's no better place to do it than at your home against your chief rival. Right. So like you said, even if they are a chief rival that admittedly may have a little bit more talent on both sides of the ball at this point, just being honest.
Keeping the ball. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So on both sides of the ball, but ultimately speaking, it can also come down to schematics. You hear people say over and over again, and we agree with them here on ATL Day One, that Arthur Smith is a really, really good play caller. So a lot of it is going to be about, hey, maybe the first drive or so, you're kind of figuring out, okay, what is Dennis Allen and company going to do over there to combat assuming if the Falcons win the toss and they go on offense first, right? But what you want to see coming out of the gates, and you just hit on it for what you want to see in the stands and how it starts on the field, if they do get that ball first, right? You want to see them to be able to drive that ball down the field, and I'm going to call it, get 7 points. Get
Yes. Yes, Lord.
7 points. Show people that
Not
you can
score,
get
get
no,
7.
7. Exactly. If you're being in the high red zone and then go into the low red zone and coming away with 3, it's not going to be acceptable,
Right.
especially not against a team like this that I suspect is going to get back to being the high powered offense that we've known the Saints to be in the past few years. And you also made another good point about the defense. Let's say the defense gets on the field first. Force Jameis Winston into mistakes. We know that
Yes.
he has gotten better. We saw it in the first
We
6 games.
know he's capable of it.
Right. That's what I was going to
Mr.
say.
30-30.
Yeah, but and it's funny because everybody wants to land on him being 30-30, but nobody wants to land on what he did in the first 6 games last year
15 and
when
2.
exactly when you
Yeah.
saw Sean Payton utilize his quarterback whisperer skills to
Mhm.
a T over the time that Jameis Winston was there. So what you're looking for is that guy who played so tremendously in the first third of last season, and
Right.
you're looking to contain him, and you're wanting to show. Let's see what that linebacker core is, and we're going to talk about how important that linebacker core is and some of the changes even up front on the defensive end that should make a difference, not just in that game, but in the season. But before we talk about that other side of the ball, there's something that I suspect while Jarvis won't need it on Sunday morning for kickoff or before kickoff, he might need a little kick of it today or tomorrow just to keep him going until Sunday.
You know what, guys? I'm gonna be keep it a buck with y'all. You know how I get down. Like, I woke up late this morning. I was struggling, trying to figure out what's going on with my life. My baby woke up super, super early. She normally wakes up early and kind of kicks it with daddy as I prep for the show and all that stuff and trying to get myself together. But she was up super early today. So guess what I needed? I needed a big old cup of coffee AM. And I went down to my cabinet, opened that bad boy up. Of course, I just get punched in the face with that great aroma. And you know what my choice was today? Rainforest Crunch. I took a trip to the rainforest. Think of how that sounds. See how my voice changed? That means that lets you know that it's good. It's got it going. Oh,
Yeah.
coffeeam.com/locked on. That's the website you need to go to. This is the best small batch coffee roaster in the entire country. So when I got my coffee in my system, I just perked up. I started feeling myself, started poking my chest out, started feeling real good. Then I got my day going. And then, I gave her my phone so she could be quiet as I, go about my way. Yeah, that's part of my daddy skills. Y'all do how y'all do. I'm going to do how I do. But anyway, let me tell you how you can get some money off on this bad boy too. Because I'm telling you to go to this website, but I'm going to give you some incentives to keep going.
Yes.
All right, coffeeam.com/locked on. Drop in the coupon code box locked on, and you're going to get 15% off your first purchase. That's on all coffee, gift sets and teas, if you're into that type of stuff as well. So right there, coffeeam.com/locked on. Drop in the coupon code box locked on. You're going to get 15% off. Go and pull up on the best coffee batch roaster in the small batch coffee roaster in the entire country. Stop playing.
So speaking of pulling up, I know that Falcons fans want to pull up on a game that will show them what this new look defense is really about. They want to see what that defensive front is and see if Grady Jarrett, now that he's got a little bit more help, can really get back to doing Grady Jarrett things, right? But
Right.
also they want to see what's going to go on with that linebacker core, especially, and I'm going to go with a veteran in this case, Lorenzo Carter. A lot of people are looking to see what Zoe Carter is about. But Jarvis, one of the things that is, there's a one critical piece, not just the names, not just the fact that they were acquired through free agency or maybe even in the draft the last year or two. It's really about what those, like the player makeup, if you will. So
Right.
DPs joined our friends over at 92.9 The Game, John Fricke and Hugh Douglas this morning. And he talked a little bit about something that he thinks is going to make all the difference in what we saw out of the Falcons defense last year versus what we're seeing this year.
Well, what I'm really hoping for you is I'm hoping we're a much, much more physical team than we've been. I just felt like a year ago, we kind of just did our assignment, tried to do it right, tried to do the things that we needed to do, be in the right spot and all that. But coming downhill, hitting guys, playing physical, really trying to be that kind of a defense. I'm hoping that's what everybody sees, that we're different. I really hope, I'm hoping for that.
Jarvis, what Dean P said there were some Deanisms in there and that he gave to Fricky and Hugh and our guys who are, of course, again, over at 92.9 The Game. He stopped by the show this morning. Boy, oh boy, got a lot to dig into there that I think is going to be very interesting in terms of going back to your first question and how the Falcons are able to maintain a sort of home field advantage this season, but also be set up for success this entire season by a new look defense.
Yeah, and I think that, the reason why I believe he does have hope, and I believed him when he said he hopes people will be able to see it. He didn't say I hope they'll be able to do it. He said
Right.
I hope they'll be able to see
There it is. Yep.
what it is, and see those things that I talked about as far as being better this year. So I think that's because he has better players on his roster this year. I believe Rashawn Evans is going to be a guy that people are going to be like, oh, why did the Titans let him go? And that's what the exact words DP said when they went after Rashawn Evans. Like, why did why they let him go? So and I think we're going to see that on display. I think that Michael Walker, a guy who Dean P's deemed that, hey, that's my play call. That's my signal call next year. Yeah, after the last season, he deemed him that. So there, obviously, the Deanisms were like, he knows what he has. He knows what he's going about to bring to put on display on Sunday. And I think that the hope is that everybody who's watching the game, they see the exact same thing. And I think that there's going to be a new look defense as well, because this, like I said, strictly because the roster improvements and the guys that I believe are going to take that necessary jump in order for this defense to be better.
Indeed. And Jarvis, we've heard, and no offense to, the last regime whatsoever, but how we've heard that term over and over again about fast and physical, right? And it speaks more to the speed piece. And I always felt that, like, the old Falcons were kind of more fast and physical. But Dean Pease has had success across this league for decades with the physical preceding the fast. So
Yes.
I'm going to look for him. We know that his base will be a 3-4, but he's going to mix that up and show us all kinds of special hybrid schemes. And I'm here for it. And I know you are too.
Yes,
I
indeed.
believe that that's going to be so critical in him showing that when he went out and got those prototype guys, right? And Ade Ogundeji or Arnold Ebiketie, and like you said, going out and even getting veterans that have more of that prototype as well. And Anthony Rush, another one, going out and getting those guys who look and feel like what Dean Pease has seen successfully in his days with the Titans and the Ravens and the Patriots. And again, we're not suggesting that the talent level is there. That remains to be seen. But we are saying that if Dean Pease said he wants you guys to see it, that means he's already seen it. He already knows that he can open up that playbook 100% and let these guys roll. So we're excited about it and look forward to seeing that ourselves on Sunday and then coming here and downloading about it on Monday. But speaking of coming back on the other side in For the Culture, we got one story that every time we get another story, another aspect of it, it's like, my God, how many layers are there to this cray story? If you want to hear about it and weigh in with us, come back on the other side in
Final segment of ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We want to say thank you for rocking with us throughout the entire show. And guess what? Before we get started with For the Culture, I got to say this. Like, I really appreciate everybody that been commenting and everything as far as what we've been talking about, and because you guys have pushing us to 4,000 subscribers almost in less than 6 months. Like, we really appreciate you. I think that's really dope. That's what you guys been doing. But going forward, we want you guys to comment in the box. Like, we're about to talk about, Doug Gottlieb. We've been teasing throughout the show. This story has been very interesting. We want you to weigh in on this. So go ahead and drop that comment in the comment box. I read them. Tenitra reads them. Mark Zeno reads them. Everybody reads the comments. So, yeah, we will definitely respond to you. We want to definitely have a conversation about it. But, T,
yes,
this is For the Culture. Like I mentioned, it is the intersection between sports, entertainment, and the culture, and sometimes whatever the hell we want to talk about, because that's just how we get down. Now, we know that Freddie Freeman came back as a Dodger to, Truist Park, and back in June, I believe, and it was a big to do, like all of, interviews and all this stuff, Freddie getting emotional on the field and all that, right? And then eventually we come to find out that he ended up firing his agent soon after, right? And his agent's Casey Close. And then not too long after that, Doug Gottlieb dropped a tweet and said that Casey Close didn't even tell Freddie Freeman about the last offer that the Braves came with. Now, and of course, that sent a poop storm of a Twitter flurry of tweets, comments, retweets, and all that good stuff. And eventually, Casey Close's people end up coming out and say, hey, that's libel. Like, we about to sue your behind. And now we find out that, Doug Gottlieb has apologized and he's retracted his statement, said that it was not true. And here we are thinking, like, I know for me, the first thing that comes to my mind, I'm just like, all right, bro. Like, did he just say that in order for them to drop the lawsuit because they have a case? Or did he really just blatantly lie? Which neither one of those scenarios are great. And to be honest with you, T, I wouldn't be surprised because, like, when it comes to Doug Gottlieb in character,
not in the same sentence.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to put those two phrases in the same sentence.
Yes. So nobody, and the funny thing is, as you're listening to media and just individuals who are on social media, right? It's very interesting to watch and listen to those comments because funny thing is nobody was surprised that Doug Gottlieb had to retract the statement. Like the fact that he likely lied, embellished, had a bootleg source, whatever you want to call it. Like nobody thought that
all the above.
Exactly. Because if you go back a few steps in the story, when Doug Gottlieb leaked it, many people said that. Many people questioned and said, but it's Doug Gottlieb. Like, what are we really supposed to believe? And then Casey, people questioned it from the gate, and it turns out all you suspicious, paranoid people, no, you actually seemingly had it right this time. Right. And so when Casey Close came out so adamant, it was like we didn't know what to believe because here locally, the thought was, okay, we're feeling some type of way. We're feeling kind of like we're twisting in the wind because Freddie's over here, like you said, emoting every game, pre-game, post-game, middle game. Just we didn't know what to do with that whole weekend. Like, wow, this must have been a really tough decision that he seemingly is regretting. And then it seemed like he didn't make the decision. So part of it was like, oh, we feel so sorry for him. Like his agent got over. But then we said in the back of our minds, but did he? I mean, because you're a grown man, you should have kind of known what he did. And those things absolutely always made us kind of, shake our heads and kind of question what's going on. I don't think this is the end of the story, by the way, Jarvis. I still think on some level, this is just getting started, this whole saga.
Yeah, because like it is so many levels to it, right? Because like during the season, I think that, Dodgers obviously have a lot going on right now. So I don't think Freddie Freeman is going to address it or his camp is going to address it. Maybe in the offseason, I think there's something that might be there. So I think that, it's just, like I said, it's just super weird that all of a sudden that you basically are admitting to lying, about this. And it, like, why? Like, why would you lie? You're not affiliated with Freddie Freeman, Casey Close, and that agency, none like at all. So basically, you were clout chasing. That's what you're admitting to. So it's just weird all the way around. Like you said, like it's not like we've never questioned his character before. Like it just keeps going down and down and down and down. And I hope, and I really don't care if he stays there, to be honest with you, T, because Doug Gottlieb is just. I just cringe sometimes when I hear his name called. Now, on the other side of that, Juanita Brown, she's amazing, and we just found out that she has been named Mrs. Universe 2022, and the reason why that's significant because she went to HBCU, of course. Like what else? What else is there? And she, is an accomplished producer, and she just has so much going on. And I think that for her to get the award, and if you, you look at her, I ain't blind. I'm married, but I ain't blind. She deserves it.
Yeah,
T.
she is. I was looking at so many different pictures of
Before I get in
her.
trouble, I'm going to pass it to
Toss it over my way, and I'll wrap this up in a bow for us and keep it moving. But yeah, beautiful
Thank
lady.
you.
I mean, just this megawatt smile and so accomplished. Like you said, producer and someone who started her own foundation. She's even an expatriate. She and her husband are currently living in Singapore. She's a mom. And so all of those things, and yet she shined on one of the biggest stages, Mrs. Universe, which of course that is the universe pageant for married women. So
Yes.
congratulations to Miss Juanita Ingram, who, like you said, is a proud graduate of Tennessee State University for her undergrad, of course, University of Memphis for her MBA, and she's a Delta.
Oh, yes. Get that.
Delta Sigma Theta
Yes.
Sorority Incorporated. We salute you.
She's a sorrow.
That said, that's really the note you should end on for any show or anything you do. The fact that we are always going to call out my illustrious sisterhood with all the love in the world. Thank you guys for stopping by for my PSA for Delta Sigma Theta. And thank you guys for stopping by for ATL Day Ones, part of the Locked On Sports Atlanta network that you should check out, because once you stop here, you got to keep it going on our Locked On Sports Network. And go stop by A to Z with Mark Zeno and then Hitting Hard with John Chuck Gray. Thank you guys for checking us out. Come back tomorrow to have more fun.
We'll have a very special guest. Y'all come back now. You hear? See who it is.